What's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. We got another great episode for the club tonight. We're live tonight on Twitch and YouTube, so thank you for tuning in. I'm so excited to be back. Everyone's ready. We're getting ready to bring all the great characters out. There's going to be so much action. Before we get to that, I need everyone right now to go down to our new partner, Eldritch Foundry's website, and make some minis. You need to make as many minis as you can. And when you check out, use our coupon code DDC Live, take 15% off at your checkout. Put our stream up in the background, put it up, watch us, enjoy the show, make some minis. Make your favorite character. We got a new character, Jade. She's amazing. I love her. She's too much fun. Get some minis ready to go. See what your mini looks like for all of us. Try to make them. Send them to us. I'll post them on our Instagram, which we just hit 10K, 10,000 followers on Instagram. Thank you so much. Everyone, thank you. It's been so fun. Send us your minis you make on Eldritch Foundry tonight. I'll post them on our Instagram and feature you proudly and boldly where no other tabletop role player will before. And that might be in our story. Anyway, check them out. We got a great episode. I can't wait to share it with you guys. This has been so fun. And we have so much more great news to share with everyone over the next few weeks. So many cool things going on here. So it's hard to comprehend how many great, cool projects we got in the cooker for you guys. So get your popcorn, get your drinks, open up Eldritch Foundry on your phone, put the show up in the background, relax. It's Monday night, and we got a great episode for you. So sit back, enjoy, and relax, and we'll see you soon. All right.
Alrighty. Hello and welcome everyone to our fifth, I believe it is, episode of our heavily modified Spelljammer campaign, our Light as Rix's campaign. We are here with you today. Myself, of course, your wonderful DM, Mark, if I may toot my own horn a tad.
The best.
I also, thank you. With me as well, I have Josh playing.
Hi guys, I'm playing General Czar, your lovable bug captain.
Ooh.
And we also have Alex playing.
He's muted.
And he's muted.
Classic.
He's playing muted.
Always. Hey everyone, I'm Alex. I am playing your favorite plasmoid, Nico.
Of course, I also have with me my own right-hand man in most walks of life, Dayton, playing.
You know him. You'll love him. He's here to chew bubblegum and shoot gunshot. He is the Tin Man.
And he's all out of bubblegum.
And joining us for the second time ever is the wonderful and incredible Marina playing.
Hi there, I'm Marina. I'll be playing your enchanting Jade Fox.
And then lastly, but certainly not least, and with all of our shout-outs, we have Matt playing.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Matt. I am playing Yosai, the club's Astral elf. It's been a crazy week. I've been waiting to get to this stream here, guys. So much great news around the club. So many great projects coming up to share with everyone. I can't wait. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to share more and more information with all these partners we're putting together and this new project we're putting together. But outside of that, we hit 10,000 followers on Instagram, which is incredible. We did it in like 6 to 7 months from when I moved from TikTok over to Instagram. And we did it in 350 or so posts. So that's like 28 followers a post. And we maintain like a 1.6 million viewer a month interaction on Instagram. So we killed it, guys. All because of you guys here playing, making this content, inspiring us in the club, out the club, on the social media, everything. So congratulations. Thank you so much. for being a part of this wild ride. It's been so fun and cool. We did it to 10K, so now we got to move on to the next platform and find out what the next the goalpost we got to hit. So congratulations and thank you to you guys all for sticking around and having fun with me.
And I think we're all having a ton of fun, and we very much appreciate everyone who has tuned in, checked on us, left comments, and of course, have helped propel us to the point where we are today.
Yes.
And of course, it would be remiss if I said if I didn't give a little shout out to Matt himself,
Ooh.
who has been our social media manager, as it were, and he's been doing an incredible job.
They like me.
The guru, if you will.
They really like
Incredible.
me. They really like me.
All right. So, previously on Echo of the Astral Sea, we began our session with an individual shrouded in darkness being interrogated by one of the Red Masks, a group of young ruckus makers who care little for the current status quo and their oppressive prince. Convinced that the captured person was indeed the same individual who had been setting fires to their safe houses, or at least that she was working with the person who was. We learn that Jade has been ostracized by a group called Silosia, and that a shady character named Mono has been interested in whatever information can be gleaned from her interrogation. Jade talks circles around the Red Mask, who passes some information to their doorman as Jade prepares for her daring escape. Meanwhile, Tin Man, Czar, Valen, and their new friend Nico enjoy their drinks at the Happy Beholder before Large Luigi informs them that they have a guest. A well-mannered and attractive fellow steps in and asks for them to rescue a friend of his. That the matter is urgent, and should they succeed, there would be a ship in the deal for them. And he did heavily imply that dragging your feet would result in a worse circumstance. The party pulls themselves together and makes their way through the Rocket Brawl to the Dockside District to locate the safe house this individual is being held in. Tin Man suggests that they go in quick and quiet, while Valen has other plans. Nico makes for getting the front door unlocked, while Tin Man and Valen move around the side, smelling smoke. As they round the corner, they see a half-melted candle tipped over into some kindling laid against the building. Jade continues her verbal sparring with the lone Red Mask before putting her plan into action, enticing the individual into striking her after biting her lip to draw blood, which she spits into the corner and begins casting Druidcraft on it, causing it to grow into vines, which then scale the wall and spell out the word "run," and hanging from the ceiling in the form of monkey orchids, orchids with markings that resembled the face of a primate to scare her captor. Her attempts are successful, and the individual runs off as Nico and Scar duck a trap and make their way up the stairs. Nico chooses the straightforward approach, and utilizing some of his gravity manipulation, makes himself denser and crashes through the wall where Jade is being held. Jade speaks with some voice who demands that she say please in order to continue her plant manipulation and escape. A hasty, uncomfortable plea sees her released as Nico and Czar enter the room to find Jade free. They quickly make for the window to escape. Meanwhile, Valen and Tin Man come face to face with Elodra, a feminine figure who bends fire to her whim and mostly ignores the two until Valen attempts to grapple her and wrench her mask off. She casts a point-blank fireball on our brave Astral Elf, leaving him a smoking mess before getting up and moving away to hunt down her quarry. She rounds on Czar, Nico, and Jade, escaping the burning building before Tin Man misses her with the dove, whom she referred to as Little Sister, and hits an individual down the road. Understanding they're outmatched, Tin Man calls retreat, while Jade and Elodra exchange pleasantries, speaking about their keeper, Lady Magdalena, and how Elodra may be working off-leash, as it were. Realizing everyone is ready to leave, Nico makes a snap decision and teleports Elodra into the burning house, and the party makes their escape. Reaching the crowds and slipping in, Tin Man and Nico end up split away from the group, while the other three duck down an alley, where Valen attempts to handcuff Jade before being interrupted by Czar, who insists that they didn't save a prisoner to take a prisoner, though Valen finds himself somehow handcuffed to himself. Jade has a moment staring at the wall where the voice that spoke to her previously forms as vines on the brick and notes that Elodra did indeed see them together. and assumes guilt by association. And we finished the session there. As we return, our party has made their escape with the knowledge that they would all meet up at the Happy Beholder later on in the day. They are welcome to take their time getting back. The city is in the throes of celebration, and save for the save for those concerned about the fire, most seem to be in a jovial spirits. Most roadways are choked with merchants and peddlers selling their goods and wares to anyone who might take a passing interest. As one moves further away from the docks and into Brawl proper, the buildings themselves are dressed for the occasion. Petals seem to fall from the sky from plants that don't exist, and warm scents of baked goods and the press of perfumed bodies permeates the air. With your adrenaline-filled excursion behind you, Velen and Czar, you begin feeling the telltale signs of your drinks kicking in. What would the three of you like to do?
Can I roll a sleight of hand and see if I can get out of these handcuffs?
I will have you do so with a disadvantage.
Can I laugh at Valen being in handcuffs?
I'll let you do so with advantage.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
With an 18, you are with a natural 20 on his performance check. You're a little confused as to how a Thrycreen could laugh so jovially. He makes it work. With an 18, however, Valen, on a sleight of hand to get out of your handcuffs, you do manage to sort of wrench your fingers around and sort of reach around and get it open with the key that you have. You free yourself, but you find it was a little invigorating to be able to slip your way out of that like that.
Did anyone notice I had to use the key?
Czar definitely did.
And I'm going to look at Jade and be like, magic.
Magic.
David Astral Elf.
Gentlemen, you'll have to forgive my curiosity, but who sent you? Coin doesn't buy timing. That perfect. That felt personal.
But where'd the key come from? Oh, what's that? Sorry.
Jade's gonna look at Czar.
He's trying to get his composure.
He didn't give us a name. Or we didn't ask for a name. I don't know. He said questions weren't allowed. But anyways, he said that some warehouses were being set ablaze, and he had a person we needed to rescue. He didn't give us a description. He didn't give us a name.
More importantly, he
he's
said
at the Happy Beholder. Last I checked, Luigi hit him with hold person. So,
and he also promised a ship to get off of this rock
he
pile.
did promise us a galleon.
So until I get on a ship, you can't leave us and go anywhere. We need to get paid first here.
So it was a him. Can I get a physical description?
Czar?
Mark?
SpongeBob.
You recall, since it was only earlier in the day, he was very handsome and wore a lot of jewelry. He had longer, darker hair and sort of kept his shirt a little more unbuttoned. Specifically, what stood out the most is that he had a red teardrop earrings in.
He had these red teardrop earrings that
He was strikingly gorgeous.
I could never forget these red teardrop earrings ever.
Big guy, not that good looking.
Sound familiar?
As good looking as me.
Of course it was him, the coward's brand of affection, rescue without reconciliation.
And he has a ship, right?
Jade, am I sensing you don't really care for that guy?
He doesn't have a ship. I knew this guy was a joke.
Gentlemen, I don't want to disappoint you, but I mean, liars come in all shapes and sizes.
I knew it. I could smell he was lying. I didn't want to say anything because it sounded weird to be like, oh, you smell like a liar. Well, that's what a liar smells like.
No, that's what we smell like.
I hate that he's right.
Yeah. All right, we need to get back to this guy and find that ship that I'm starting to believe was a psyop now, and figure out how, I don't know, to get a ship,
Get something out of this guy.
something.
I don't know.
Well, I'll
Jade
get quite a few
recognized the
things
guy
out of
by
it.
the earrings, so we show up. Maybe Luigi still got him locked in whatever hold person actually is.
Well,
10 turns at most.
let's
I meant the physical binding force.
let's find our way back here then.
At their aberration magic.
So before we go, just to be safe, Jade is going to cast Pass Without a Trace because she doesn't feel comfortable walking out in broad daylight, especially after what happened with her sister.
Okay.
That is an incredible spell to cast.
Right.
Just
I
to
love
give
that
everybody some extra, stealthy kind
Josh
of
is
stuff.
just double in costume now, 2 mustaches on.
No, this one was the glasses with the bouncy eyes.
The big honking nose.
This
So-
shit.
I'll have each of you make a quick. Well, anybody who's leaving this alley stealthily, I will have you make a stealth check. You can still see that there's plenty of people outside of the alley, just people pressing and moving. If I'm not mistaken, that gives you a +10. Pass
Yeah, that's
without a
gonna
trace.
give me a 32 mark.
27. Oh gosh, you're never leaving us. As I feel all
Good thing you're not
warming
wearing that green vest anymore.
as we walk into the crowd, and I just feel like unseen.
Just
I
the,
feel so very
Dun
right now.
dun da da dun.
the
Unseen.
Major Motoko when she just drops and goes invisible.
Oh yes.
He already pulled that move once before. Remember, jumping out the window there.
Do we get your stealth roll?
You
too?
did.
I'm clicking the button. It's not going. So like, ooh.
Okay. Do you know what your bonus is? You can roll a d20 and roll 20 if you need to.
Do you have it open in Chrome?
Do the old
I have
fashioned
it
way.
on Chrome.
All right, breaking out the dice.
Mhm.
Ugh.
I rolled a 2 plus 6, so H. Oh boy.
So an 18 because you have pass without a trace.
Dankeschön.
So each of you manages to slip out of the alley, mostly unseen, finding your moment to sort of blend in to the press of bodies as people come and go, moving past the alleyway. Where are you heading anywhere specific, or are you just sort of going with the flow of the people for the moment?
Well, I think we're kind of going with the flow for the moment, as long as it's taking us sort of towards the tavern.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Alright.
happy beholder.
Yes. So the flow seems to be heading towards the center, the mid district. The Happy Beholder's not far from there. So
Perfect.
yeah, you will likely be heading that way. You do notice, however, that with the press of bodies, the movement of the crowd, and just the general energy of everything going on, you've well and truly lost Tin Man and Nico.
Hey,
Gone but
so-
not forgotten.
Hey guys, I don't see them anywhere.
Valen, they haven't been with us since you
I was-
handcuffed yourself.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd gonna catch them out in the crowd though.
I mean,
Gee.
I'm sure they'll meet us back at the tavern.
Yeah, you're right. And we got to find out about the ship ASAP.
Was that explicitly communicated though?
Yes, it was mentioned.
Okay.
I
All right,
mean,
back to the
even
Happy
if it
Beholder.
wasn't, that's what we were hired from. So that's where we were hired to return.
And
Yeah, but explicitity is necessary when Nico's involved.
Ah, yes.
yeah, and we'll kind of just
Czar may have forgotten that fact.
make our way through the crowd then, even though it's packed. But I'm gonna keep looking back and making sure Jade is with us and that she doesn't leave us. Because I have doubts that we're gonna get paid at all from this thing.
Jade
All right.
follows behind, a couple steps behind them, but she's not excited to be there.
And I'm gonna like keep trying to
Couple
slow down
steps,
my
couple
pace
of
to
feet.
walk behind her a little bit. And
Couple
like
meters.
as she starts to stay behind me, and like we play this cat and mouse game of trying not to be noticed to be the one behind.
No, after you. No, after you. No, after you.
Jade just sees.
Oh, I just gotta tie my shoe.
Oh, I just got to
Target
tie.
didn't get the memo of that game.
My boot came untied again. Oh, but okay.
Czar, as you continue to push through the crowd, you make your way forward. You sort of notice, you kind of get a sense of where Valen and Jade are, but you are definitely in the front as they sort of play this little game of positioning. So you are the first to notice as you come out into an open clearing. This is the same square that Valen was in before. You can see along the edges of this, the square are several, like I mentioned before, merchants and peddlers having set up their wares. There's a couple of food stands, and you actually notice that there's a couple of people hosting little games around the area. Valen, as you step out of the crowd, you hear someone call to you. What are you doing with those handcuffs over there, my friend?
These things are broken, and I'm gonna like
Really?
dangle them. Yeah.
So as you speak to this individual, you see that they're wearing a heavy dark cloak with the cowl pulled up over their head. You can see the sort of the bottom of their face. It's a they got like a thin beard that's pulled into a little curly Q at the very bottom, and they got a green skin with a pair of tusks coming up. You could tell this seems to be some sort of half orc, and they're wearing very heavily like rogue gear. He's wearing his leathers, but it's all in black. Just looking at him, you can tell that his gear looks a little too nice for anybody that might have actually used this for its function. But he's standing in front of a chest and a door, and he's sort of twirling a wand between his fingers. Well, maybe I could get it back working for you.
It'd be great. And
Fantastic. Let's see him.
I'm gonna like toss it to him in the air, but kind of keep my distance because like I don't really trust this dude.
All right. So how far away are you?
Maybe like I'm not in a close enough distance that he could like pull a quick one on me, run my pockets, make me look like a fool in front of everyone, Hey, look over there. Then I get a pie to the whatever, I'm.
Pie in the face.
I got some distance. I've been to Renaissance
for all
Festival. I just
scenarios.
assume,
As you go to reach out and toss it over to him, he sort of slips inside your guard, steps forward, and grabs them out of the air, and then puts one on your wrist and another one on his.
Oh!
They look like
Oh,
they
look,
work fine to
look.
me.
I knew it was coming.
Get him off.
Does Czar notice this at all?
Oh, you're both right there.
Get him off right now.
Well, that's the fun part.
What? I gotta give you like five silver or something.
You think I can get him off without a key?
All right, so you're coming with us now, and I'm gonna just start yanking him. Let's go! Hurry up! I have a ship waiting for me. And then like
All right.
I'll like try to like strong arm him. Like, what was the plan here?
Well, I had to draw you in. Got to do my sales pitch.
Okay, well, what's the pitch?
A bet.
As we still are like probably like pulling each
He's
other,
pulling back.
like an
just a
aggressive
bet.
handshake. Oh, really? What is it?
Well, for 2 silver, I'll take it off without a key.
That
have
seems
an
like
idea.
a bit much.
Matt, does Valen have any sort of identification from when he was in the Xerxes Navy?
That might not be the best thing to bring up.
I mean, this guy might be trying to swindle you.
He's
And
definitely
I figured if I
swindling me.
sleight a hand check you and lift your ID and give it to you like you dropped it.
And when you look at my ID, you're gonna see it like doesn't have my name and anything, and it's like,
Oh,
really?
okay, it's one of those.
And it's like kind of like it's still government issued, but all the information's been erased on it.
says this doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Get it off.
He slips his hand through, like you can see his wrist sort of goes gummy, and he slips his hand through, and now you're just handcuffed to nothing. I'll tell you what, for being a good sport, I'll lower it to 1 silver. But I'm willing to bet you, with this wand, I can lock that door and open it without any issue. And you see he points to a freestanding door behind him as if it's sort of just set up to exist.
I feel like I'm gonna check the door and I'm gonna get handcuffed to the door here. It's gonna be like
You don't
3
have to
silver.
touch the door.
Well, how do I know it's locked?
That's a good point.
And I'm gonna,
Tell you what,
I'll
so he
shake the
takes a
handle.
step
I'm gonna
back,
like
he
push
touches
and
the
shift
door.
the handle, shake it, see if it's locked.
He,
Am I-
he sort of rushes to tap the door with his wand before you get there, and then as you try it, it is locked.
Well played. Okay, so what's the gambit here?
Well, I'm going to open the door without touching it.
Okay.
You know where this is going.
Okay.
And as
Would
I
you
hear
like to bet
Jade's
that I
voice, I'm
can?
gonna be like, yes, Jade's still here.
Jade is here judging.
I'm willing to
Judging
bet
all
that I
Zar's
judging?
thinking
can.
him to himself, Vlen, don't fall for this.
No, this seems like a sure bet. The door's locked.
No, the bet is he can open it without touching it.
All right. I'll take that
Mhm.
bet.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go stand behind the door so it can't open. Try to like outsmart him
um,
with the
he
handcuffs
watches
still on.
you. He watches you, and he's like, "You know what? You do whatever you think you need to." And you watch Zar and Jade. I'd like you each to make a perception check.
Dirty 20.
Okay.
The dirtiest
I
of
rolled in.
20s.
It's only moderately dirty.
I'm having some trouble here. Dang it.
It's all right. So long as even if you roll it in like beyond D&D Beyond,
Yeah, you can just say what it
post
is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
I
save
rolled-
and post it.
I rolled a 19, so 8 plus 11.
Okay, cool. So you both notice as he steps in front of the door opposite of Valen, he sort of throws his coat out, and after a moment, you watch another wand materialize in his hand. He taps it to the door, and it opens towards him, revealing Valen on the other side.
I just fall through it. Didn't see
No, I
that
don't
well.
believe that counts as touching the door.
All right, and I'm gonna
I
flip
didn't.
him a silver and be like, get these handcuffs off me. I gotta see a guy about a ship.
He reaches over, touches the handcuffs with the wand. You know, this is just supposed to be a little thing for kids, right? It's not that serious. But for being a good sport, he hands you the wand.
And I'll look at it like, and like try to use it on the door real quick.
Give me just a second, and you could try it again. He goes over, closes the door, taps it with another wand. You hear the lock click. Go ahead.
And I've never really used a wand, so I'm like,
You do your Wingardium Leviosa, and you watch as the door, or you hear as the door clicks.
wow,
You now have a wand of knock.
I appreciate it. This is nice.
No problem. Have fun in the celebrations.
I'm gonna like kind of tuck it in my duffel like satchel.
You're right. Definitely don't use it on the handcuff.
You now have a wand of knock. It has 3 uses of knock per day.
Awesome.
The spell knock.
You gonna throw the street performer some coin? You know?
You give him silver.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? Here's an extra silver for this. And I'll flip
Many
him
thanks.
another one. And I'm gonna look around and make sure Jay didn't leave again. I'm like, let's go see about that person about the ship. And I'm holding like the wand in her face, like, oh, sorry. And then I'll put it back away.
I'll be honest with you, Valen. I thought that guy was going to swindle you.
I'm not sure he didn't. And
Just
I'll
grateful there was no ambush. Can't trust anybody in the city.
This poor guy's just trying to like be a street magician for a couple coins and like put on a show for the kids, and just the biggest pack of tools strolls along.
and then we'll continue through the crowd and along our way.
You continue moving through the square. Like I said, it's a little more open, and there's like food vendors, other games, and stuff like that around. You can head off towards the Happy Beholder, which is a little more eastward of where you are. Nico and Valen, you find yourselves similarly pressed.
Tin Man.
Or, sorry, Tin Man. Sorry, you're both gunslingers. Nico and Tin Man, you find yourselves in a similar situation that you are within the crowds of people. This makes you a little less comfortable than it might Nico, Tin Man, but as long as you can keep an eye on his unique colors, you don't find it difficult to keep up with Nico.
Oh, so just like I'm still wearing my full plate. Like I am literally walking through the crowd wearing his armor.
Even easier.
Yeah, so it's extremely easy to keep an eye on him. In fact, many people turn their eyes on him.
Just two, one
sort of
giant robot and a tiny robot.
Yeah. Is that the Full Metal Alchemist?
Big Man and Rusty?
The Full Metal Artillerist. So the like I said, the press of bodies sort of keeps you moving. Where are you headed?
Tin Man, kind of missing everybody. Where should we go back to Little Luigi's? Is it large Luigi?
Yeah. I do believe if we were to find ourselves separated, that'd be the thing to do. Although, looking out over the crowd, it may take us some time to find our way around. Shall we start working our way back then?
We shall. I think we can. Mark, about are we close to my shop, or would that be in a completely different section?
So the Happy Beholder is sort of on the center east side of Brawl. You can see on the map there. Your shop is just south of that, so right around here.
Okay. And where are we now?
You are over here.
Okay. So yeah, let's head back and hey, Tin Man, my furry buddy sent me a message saying you got something that I should take a look at.
Tin Man stops for a moment, remembering half the reason why he may have been drinking earlier was avoiding this conversation. Right. As a matter of fact, I actually had someplace I wanted to stop too. This might be the best thing while the others are off doing their own thing. I do believe they've got the lady with them. They'll get back to Luigi's and yeah, Nico, change your plans. Walk and talk with me. We're heading over to the east side, all right?
Now I would know of where he's trying to go, correct?
If he says where he's trying to go.
Yeah. So well, Tin Man, where you headed? I didn't know you knew we're from Brawl.
Been in and out a couple times. It's the gateway to the belt, they say. A lot of people find their way here trying to get out of the belt. I often found my way going back in. You familiar with the little repair shop, Lever and Action?
You are intimately familiar. It's one of the most famous and well-known firearms experts in Brawl, let alone in the Astral Sea.
I am very familiar. Very fine work. They're say it's definitely some I've studied some of their pieces. Would I have maybe worked with them on anything?
you would have absolutely spent some time speaking with Canon Master Arnott over designs and the like that. You are acquainted, even to the point you might even call her a friend. But GIF make friends differently than most.
Gotcha. It's like, I've seen some of the designs and helped with the little rune work, and there. Let's go. Let's probably been a hot minute. I should say hi.
Sounds like a plan to me. We'll start a gig moving, kind of get some space under our feet first. Make sure that we are good and distant from the docks. Yeah, no, I used to find my way over at the lever in action all the time. Repair work, kind of tap my stargrazer, but well, I guess you could say back in the day I'm a bit of a weapon myself. Needless to say, repairs on both ends, but they haven't been there in some time. Well, now I got a little friend asking me to stop in there, which I can't say I was foreseeing, but situation is what it is. I'm gonna kind of pull out the dove, looking it over. You ever seen a piece like this before?
Have I ever seen a piece like that before?
Once, when
Belonged
a
to a friend of mine. Sorry, go.
I say you saw it once when Orvis was asked to service a similar firearm held by a bounty hunter whose name you don't know.
What?
Belonged to a friend of
Nice.
mine. Warforged. By the name of Silver Liner. Bit of a folk hero in these parts, believe it or not, especially once you get into the belt proper. He, you could say he's a bit of a hero to me. Something of a role model. Can't say I've done half the work he's done, but, well, I always aspired to walk in his footsteps nonetheless. Kind of lost track of him for a while. Lost track of a lot of folks in the belt, if I'm honest. To be entirely honest, I think a lot of people there probably think I'm scrap metal. Maybe for the best, really. But pursuing some threads, some ties, and a few leads. Took me out to backwater called Realm Space. Got a couple planets there. Little place called Toril. Surprisingly old. It's got some old stuff there. I'm surprised. Not much there otherwise, but there was an academy getting put together. They apparently detected me on re-entry, which was not a pretty re-entry. Helped get me back up to health. I probably would still be laying in pieces on a shore somewhere right about now if it hadn't been for them. But wouldn't you know it, the local quartermaster and service droid, Mr. Blip, good folk. Well, apparently he was an old friend, even a bit of a traveling compadre with Silverliner. Sure enough, in the middle of nowhere, I ran into him, this tiny little academy, and he had the dove with him. Academy got attacked. Huge ordeal, half blown up, half sticking out of the water at these points. They brought us in. They said, hey, we're going to need your help here. We're trying to set something up in the belt, and we're getting some resistance. And to be entirely honest, there's a whole mess of static going on. And, well, frankly, it lines up nicely with the leads I was following to begin with. I said, well, this works out mighty fine for me. But then, in the kerfuffle of it all, he goes and hands me the dove. And he says, well, I think this is destiny. And I say, well, you're crazy. I don't believe in destiny. But sure enough, the dove seems to take a liking to me. I know, I apologize. I'm not usually one to dominate the conversation so much. It's just a lot's been happening the past few cycles that I've been out. I admit it's a lot to unpack, and I admit you remind me a bit of old Orvis there, so I can't help but spill my guts. But the craziest
Nico-
thing happened.
Oh.
Look, what-
Nico 100% as you're going through this is just like enraptured by like you just hearing your story like
big robot.
And you
Story
have a moment of
time.
nostalgia as you suddenly remember where you remember Tin Man from, Nico. His dulcet tones, his drawl, just his general voice. You remember hearing this voice telling you tales as you sat as nothing more than the size of a football on Orvis's desk, while Tin Man sat on the workbench having his joints serviced and getting taken care of and repaired. While Orvis did his work, you two sat and chatted.
Now the crazy thing is, they send us out on this little side mission. They're like, all right, we're gonna send you out. Well, before we get you out of realm space, we're gonna send you to the very edge of it, a beholder homeworld. Thank my lucky stars we did not run into a single one of them. I was not. The dove decides to introduce herself. And not with the normal crack you'd expect of a good old firearm. No. She does, and she goes, and she takes herself a full-on manifestation as a pretty old lady with a nice dress and some lacy frilly things. And she says, that there spear that your friend Scarrock's got, well, I don't much like that. And I'm going to eat it. And, well, I'll be honest, there was a tight moment there where me and the group were still sort of feeling each other out, where I feel like I just about got spaced for my trouble. Not that it would be the first time, or the last, really. But it wouldn't have been pleasant. And it's a crying shame for all the effort that I put in to hold on to this gun. So now, I got myself a pretty little lady friend following me around, sitting comfortably in a gun that terrifies me to no end. Whenever this thing fires, it aims to kill. And apparently, first gun I ever fired where I ain't got a say on who it kills. And I know at least one of them bullets has got a friend's name on it. Leave her in action. That's what she told me. She said, go to the leave her in action. Now, don't get me wrong, Ms. Arnott there, Cannon Master, she's fantastic. I've worked with her before, but I've never known her to dabble in the arcane. So I'm a little confused just what the dove's pointing us towards. But Orvis, old Orvis there, he always dabbled in the arcane. He always bridged the gap between the mechanical and the magicable. And I trust him to know something about this. But we don't have him with us anymore now, do we? So, if you happen to absorb anything from that big old head of his, I was hoping that maybe you might know something about this. Because right now, the lever in action is the only lead I got.
well, then let's do this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Let's go with the lever in action, and then get some pointers. See if she got some leads, and we'll bring her back to my shop. Maybe send a runner, tell him to have the guys from Large Luigi's, or come back and meet us in my shop.
You sounding all professional. Got you a shop and picking up where old Orvis left off. All right, Nico, you full of surprises, ain't you? As we're moving through the crowd, the olfactor senses picking up what I can. That said, along the way, this is actually quite the nice little thing they got going on here. What do I see around me as we move through the crowd?
So
Coming
as
out of
you
the fugue state of my story.
as you take your first steps out of the Dockside district and follow the crowd through basically Midtown over towards the Lever in Action, which is closer to Gift Town, you start coming into more open streets, and the Gift Town itself is very much made in the image of GIF. They've really made it their own, so you see a lot of the buildings are very utilitarian. Any extra ornamentation is done in the small details. So, like knobs on doors have intricate details of etchings and stuff like that. The crosses on windows are in different sort of Art Deco design. but it is very much the function before the detail, as you are very familiar. That is how GIF deal. Most excuse me, most buildings are a little regal. They sit short but tall enough for GIF. But they're regal in their standing. Like they're very square. They got dark, rich colors, and some of them are bright, very bright, like grays and whites. But you don't see a whole lot of intricate colors, save for the linings and the little things. Um, the lever in action, as you come up on that, is very similar, except for it's got a little bit more space. It kind of occupies its own corner of a block, and you could see out in front, across the top, atop the door, is this massive artillery piece that looks like it would take 3 GIF just to carry, let alone fire. The welcome to the lever in action. The front of it is done in a very. Let me get a drink.
Glory be to the GIF Empire, the dwarves of space. Aside from dwarves that are actually in space. Although, if you didn't work in the mining industry like I did, you'd never see a dwarf. Half the time, they're so deep in their asteroids, you don't even know. GIF, on the other hand, they like to make themselves known. Kind of the opposite of the elves in a lot of way, but I guess that's always been the case. Don't let them fool you, though. They like to say that they're all utility. Get one of them on a good hookah pipe, and that changes real quick. Like,
so the front of the lever in action, like I mentioned, it's got this massive artillery piece. The wood itself is like lacquered and stained in a very dark brown, like a very rich brown. The front door itself is in the same coloration, except for you see the lining of the door itself done in a very tasteful bronze. And similarly with the handle, which is actually shaped like the handle of a gun. So you got to grab the handle and then turn.
that's GIF. That's incredibly GIF. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
awesome.
You just go up and it's the full butt of the rifle.
Yeah. Are you going in?
Gonna kind of stare at it for a minute, kind of bracing myself. Which
Do I notice if Tin Man's delaying? Like as soon as we get there, Skyrock's or not Skyrock, Nico's going to just open up the door, like nothing, and be like, oh, oh, where did we need to wait?
No, you're good. You're good. Go on. I'm right behind you.
As you enter, you see that the walls, it's very much an open area. The main sales floor itself is about a 30 by 30 with a desk off to the right side, behind which you see a wall of tools and half finished firearms. Every single space on the rest of the walls is the real estate is taken up by every shape and form of conventional firearm you can find. You've got things from classic muskets, which you yourself weren't using too long ago, Tin Man. And then you get things that look a little otherworldly in nature, but you can tell this is where the handle is, this is where the trigger is, that's where the casing or the bullets themselves go. This is how you put the rounds in. It's all logical. It's just you can see that there is an incredible amount of art put into these pieces. One of them literally looks like a shield with a gun through it, so you can block and then shoot at the same time. So you step in and the floor. Go ahead.
See that one up there? One trigger, 3 hold points. Drag queen design. I wonder if Zara would like that.
He would.
You as you step in, or not as you step in, you also get the scent of gun oils and machined steel. You can smell the work that's happening towards the back, just past the desk. You can see a doorway that goes into a back room, and you can hear the sounds of gentle tapping of metal on metal. Nobody is at the desk right now, so you just sort of you look around for the moment. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna see what all kind of different crazy models we got up here.
Sure. So, is there anything specific you're looking for, or are you just looking to look?
Just kind of looking to look at the moment.
Okay. You see a couple of particularly intricate designs. You see that there seems to be a similar to the artillery outside. It's more like a 6-foot long rotating barrel minigun sort of deal. Except for you can see the way it's set up on the wall. It's snapped in half with a hinge. So it sort of sets on the wall, clipped in half, and you can see how someone might be able to carry that around, pull it out, and then fold it together to make it a functional weapon, Monster Hunter style.
God
There,
dang.
you can see on one of the walls off to the other side to your left is a similar, literally almost identical artillery piece to the one outside that just dominates its own wall. This one is a little less intricate than the one out there, but the barrel itself is like 5 feet long, with a massive muzzle brake at the end to disperse the energy coming out of that barrel. You can tell that the size of shells that this thing takes are probably half your own size.
You know, if you could pick that thing up, I bet we could get some good mileage out of that. Just saying. Knocking on Nico's armor.
Are you
So I'm
reaching
just
for
starts going.
it?
No. The Cannon Master is particular. Bit of a gun
Oh,
fetishist as she is.
Oh, I know. And Nico will look at some of the new designs, and are there any like drawings or anything on the counter?
You can see that there seems to be a few contracts that have been signed or put together recently for commissions, some of which come with little blueprints and are sort of sketched out ideas of what the person wants. It's very much in Arnott's nature to be extremely meticulous about this, so those sketches are very detailed. Is there anything specific you're looking for?
No, just actually like design choices, because you'll notice Tin Man that a lot of like he'll switch his left arm from the arm motor or mode into the arm cannon, and you'll notice that a lot of the lines and whatnot bear resemblance to the firearms here.
Okay. I can see some of her work in your suit.
And to that end, Nico, you actually do see that one of the commissions looks to be a very large plasmoid. You see the dimensions on it, and it stands about 8 feet tall. It looks to be sort of in a juggernaut style armor where the entire head is a dome down to the shoulders. So the shoulders are sort of stuck in place. One of the arms is this massive cannon that look like it's you could fit Tin Man in the barrel.
Do I see him looking at this? Do I catch eye of it?
You can see that he's looking very intimately at something on the desk
Intimately.
there.
That's pretty intimate.
Tin Man
I have
around?
peer over. Can I take a look? Friend of yours?
How would you move? And like Nico's actually going through trying to work about like how about like how would you be flexible enough to move in any capacity in that armor?
Do I notice any particular names? Like, not Arnott's, but the actual commissionees or commissioners on the forms. Anything stand out to me?
I would like you to make a. Actually, no, I'm not going to make you make a perception check. You look it over, and specifically at the bottom, you see notes on the blueprint itself, and many of them are putting forth the same concern that Nico has. How does this thing move? It's massive and it's heavy. No normal person would be able to move this. Um, but as you sort of look around, you do notice that there is a piece of paper nearby with the similar similar markings on it. Sort of a smaller sketch like they did while they were talking about the commission, and you see that it is signed with a V and then a scribble.
That sounds familiar.
If you would like to determine if you can read it, I will let you make a perception check.
Gladly.
Can I somehow give him the help action?
You're enamored with the blueprint at the moment. Tin Man, you read the name Varsha.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna keep notes of that.
You hear the tapping of metal on metal stop in the background, and you hear the sound of heavy boots falling with a incongruous gait, and a limping but towering gif appears in the doorway. Are either of you trying to hide the fact that you're looking through her stuff?
Tin Man is. He's trying to be inconspicuous.
Okay.
Nope. Nico's head 100% like the helmet is retracted away, and he's like pseudopod the head around, like
It's
look
like 3 inches off it.
like looking at the blueprint and just muttering to himself. It's like, hell, there's no elbow joint. It's like, Tin Man, there's no elbow joint. How is that arm even good? Like,
It is for stability, Nico. You should know.
it doesn't look cool. You can't move it.
Aesthetic was never my intention. You know that.
There she is.
The
Cannon
gif,
Master herself.
well met. You can see that the Cannon Master steps out. She is shaved head on the top, and she has a large graying handlebar mustache that sort of spreads out from her upper lip. She's wearing her blacksmith's vest, and you can see that she's wearing sort of a tan tunic and a pair of heavy duty pants below that. She steps out and moves over. You can see she moves with a noticeable limp, but the power of her, just her entire being, is very much on show here. You've seen her lug these artillery pieces by herself. She is not someone who relies on others to get things like this done. Well, I was expecting to see you soon, Nico. It is nice to meet you. And I know your face, but your face is in a lot of places, even where you are not.
Yeah, that's about right. No,
Oh,
it's me.
him.
Yeah, you can just go by Tin Man for now.
Tin Man it is. Uninspired, but your make is solid. What can I help you with? And I think that's where we'll take our break.
Oh, we'll see you guys in 5. I'm excited. Awesome, guys. What an awesome episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to be back here real shortly with more great action. Before we go on a break, real quick, I just want to give another shout out to Eldritch Foundry for all the great minis they're able to make there. Not only them, but we have a lot of more great partners to bring online here, just like Eldritch Foundry in the next few weeks. One of them is going to be Mythical Meats, and I can't wait to share some of their great products. But we're going to be partnering with them as well as Eldritch Foundry here soon. Until then, go check Eldritch Foundry out. Go tell them that I sent you. Tell them Valen sent you. Use DDC Live for 15% off. Make a bunch of minis. Let them know you saw the stream. Let them know. You're going to be a huge partner moving forward. And we got so much to share. I can't wait. We got a new studio. I've been making content for the new studio left and right. And all these great partners are making it possible. So go check them out so we can keep this content coming more often at a more regular schedule. So thanks for tuning in. We got the rest of the episode coming up here. And I can't wait. So I'll see you guys in a few. Oops. There we go.
We good?
Yep.
Alrighty.
Can you hear it?
All
Welcome
right.
back. Welcome back, everyone. Dane, don't forget to unmute in Discord, my guy. So we had just finished off where Tin Man and Nico met the Cannon Master Arnott. She stepped out and asked you what you would like to do or what you were here for, how she could help.
Arnie, I would, well, I shouldn't say I, but, well, a friend of mine here, Tin Man, would like you and to look at his gun. Actually, I kind of want to look at it too. Can we look at it together? Because I've only ever seen one other one like this.
Seeing things is usually the only thing that does not make a room crowded. So yes, we may analyze it together. She holds out a large hand. You can see several scars and the gunpowder scarring on her hands, if I may.
Gonna kind of pull it out. You can try, but I haven't much had success yet. Try and handle the weapon.
You watch as her eyes go large, seeing this. She takes it, and the dove settles into her hands. The last time I saw you, you were with a different carrier.
Silverliner.
Yes, he was in here often. A friend, perhaps. The distance between visits has been long recently. So you are uncertain he did not tell you about the functions of this weapon, of this.
I've been figuring them out as I went, but unfortunately, he wasn't the one that delivered it to me. It was a friend of his, another autognome, Mr. Blip. He felt the weapon was good in my hands, but unfortunately, it didn't come with any instruction booklet.
Yes, she is old. She is very old, despite her young appearance. The Silver Liner got her herself from another bounty hunter. It seems that it is her fate to change hands. Have you heard of Calistelia?
Have I heard of Calistelia?
Calistelia is a bit more of a myth than an individual or a notable individual anymore. Calistelia was Silver Liner's mentor.
Only that Silver Liner had worked under her for a while.
Well, Calistelia was a very impressive weaponsmith. She taught me a few things, even, though most of what I have learned was from my own admiral. Have you heard the name Flyweight before?
He's a bit of a folk hero among the GIF, if I understand right.
And I'm very proud to have served in his crew. He's one of the best of us. Though, back to the topic at hand, I do not know much outside of the hens that have held the dove. And she goes to hand it back. But the Silver Liner and I have devised of ways to make non-unique ammunition for this one. Give me one moment. She turns and trudges back with her limp to the back room, and you hear the jangling of some metals, some things clanging together. Ah, here it is. And you hear a hut, and then the sound of heavy footsteps returning. And she comes back out with this little box. It seems to be incredibly heavy. As she goes to set it down on the counter, you see it's in a furnished wood, with a little swinging latch on the front. She flicks the latch and lifts it open, and you see 3 rounds inside. They look almost identical to the shells that you've seen before, except for these aren't quite as polished, and none of them have a name etched into the side. We settled on calling these blanks, as they do not carry the unique properties that her other ammunition does. They aren't quite as effective, and you lose much of the, well, the gravitational crushing of your target, but they are effective. And should you need to utilize this effect, you may use these. And as a sign of goodwill from an old friend, these are yours for free.
Well, there must be something I can do to repay you. You don't know me, and I don't much know you either. Beyond a few stop-ins once upon a time. I'd love if there's anything I can do to help you while I'm here in the Rock.
Well, I did just learn that an old friend has passed. Perhaps the three of us could share a toast.
Nico, you old enough to drink?
Mhm.
You were drinking, weren't you? Yeah. We're good. We're good.
There is a
Yeah, I think that's a.
greenish tint to his.
The Jade Tsunami.
Looks
Yes.
up and he's like still like it's like dripping off of his mouth.
Yeah, it's just still like a lava lamp inside of my head.
You notice as she pulls out from behind the desk three shot glasses that look like shotgun shells. They look like they were
Ooh.
probably repurposed shotgun shells, and a bottle that has no label on it. The alcohol inside is completely clear.
Oh,
This is
That's gonna
part
burn
of
it.
my personal stock. We call it the Warright Stiff, named after our illustrious queen, of course. Though I believe around here people call it the stiff upper lip. Perhaps you will find out why. And she pours it into each of the cups and hands two over.
Well,
Say nothing. We do this in the traditional gift way. She also reaches behind the counter and pulls out two pistols. 3 into the air for a lost friend. She grabs her own pistol, aims it upwards. As we drink, on the 3rd, she fires once, expects you to do the same, twice, then a 3rd time, and as the 3rd one goes, she downs a drink.
trying to follow suit, getting it past the mustache. Do I look up? How many holes do I see in the ceiling? Has this been done before?
You can see that there are a couple of older holes in the ceiling. It doesn't look to seem as though it's been done often. Every so often, it does seem. As you drink this, Tin Man, you're surprised that it doesn't burn as much as you think, but you get the unmistakable taste of gun oil. Nico, as you take a drink, it stings. You get the taste of machine oil and bacon.
The outer shell of Nico just kind of like gets that orange peel feeling, just like it just like simmers for a second, like no, what was that? That was weird.
This is an old drink we used to have on our ships. The two things we often have in excess are cooking fat and gun oil. Turns out if you distill them just right, you get something incredibly strong.
I gotta say, this is probably my new favorite.
Well, if there is anything else you can do for me, it is to see that our illustrious prince gets his. And if you are in need for any further munitions, you know where you can find me.
No, Mark, clarify the shells that Tin Man got. Are they basically like mini black hole shells?
You haven't fired
They're
them, but from
specifically-
this... Go ahead.
Yeah, from the sounds of it, they're specifically not black hole shells, is the trick.
Correct. They look more
Okay.
like slugs than anything.
Because I know one thing we brought up is that I wanted to kind of work on making mini black hole shells
Mhm.
for mine. Would I have brought that up with her at all?
It sounds like something that you would have brought up, and she sort of sees you looking at them a little more intently, the right word this time. If you notice those, they are very heavy. They are made from an alloy of cold iron and ortsite. Very rare. But you may be able to do some of your tinkering on these, Nico. It is worth a try. As
And
the
little bit of work
old
done.
GIF adage says, that if the end result is an explosion, it is worth the attempt.
And she gave us 3, correct?
Correct.
Every bit of
Nico's
the
gonna
effort put together between her and Silver Liner. I'm gonna need to find me a way to make more of these with time due. Nico, you think you can help me out with this? I'll be honest.
Nico's already kind of like
Cut.
pseudopoded one out of them and is like brought it up and looking at it.
I'm a crack shot, but I've never been much better at serving my own gun than just keeping her oiled and clean.
Well, Tin Man, let's do something about it.
And for once, perhaps, keep your gun happy. There is a person in there.
Wait, what?
Tim kind of lowers his hat, a little ashamed of that remark.
Cursed.
Cursed.
Is there anything else I can help you two with? I have work to get back to.
Yeah, a lot of things you could. You said there was a person in that weapon.
We'll talk more about it, Nico. You said you want to stop by your shop at some point.
And Nico just starts looking around at the walls and he goes, "Is that why there's never people in this store?" And then we leave.
Are you talking about your
appreciate
store or
this.
hers?
Hers, like right now, because there's nobody in there, and like there's
She's
people
soul
inside the
trapping
weapons.
people in the weapons. You know?
Yeah, tip my hat to the battle master as we work our way out.
Cannon Master, and one more gift to see our illustrious prince get his. She steps out with a small suitcase and walks over to you, Nico, and hands it to you. Inside there are some works that I used, inspired by you. I wanted the chance to give them to you personally.
Ooh.
Nico kind of perks up and goes, "Oh, thanks," and kind of in that happy jovial, like again, still wearing full plate armor, bounds down the street and just says, "Yeah, let's." Oh yeah, Tin Man shop, my shop. Come on, this way.
Mhm. All right. So we're going to head back over to Jade, Valen, and Zar. The 3 of you are heading towards the Happy Beholder, correct?
Yeah.
Hopefully not getting swindled again.
It was
As
a
you are-
street performer.
As you are moving, you hear the air around you starts to vibrate after a moment. Jade, you're very familiar with this phenomenon. Zar, you're not particularly unfamiliar yourself. It's just neither of you have been far enough to have felt it in this fashion. The air around you begins to vibrate, and you hear a chiming. And you realize that this is Rose Gold setting off the horn that dictates the time in the belt. This is the second horn of the day, so it is going into evening. This is how people can set their watches and keep time while they're in the astral sea, at least in this region. This massive horn is literally the centerpiece of Renasus. and Rose Gold, a warforged that you're familiar with, though distantly, has been tasked as its caretaker and very, very meticulously keeps time to sound this every 8 hours.
Oh, I like that a lot.
I take it you're not from here, but this signals that it is now evening. So perhaps we should keep going.
Before it gets too late.
Of course, things come out in the shadows around here.
Yeah, we gotta see
Not
this guy
always
about
in
this
the
ship.
open.
All right. I don't disagree. It is getting dark, and I do not like the people who come out in this location after night too much. So, if we could move it along here, and I'm gonna kind of look over the crowd and see if we're getting any closer.
You are making your way through. The three of you are particularly lithe, so it's not difficult to move through the crowd, with the exception of you, Valen, who likes to just sort of charge through, sometimes backwards, giving peace signs even. So you manage to make your way through the crowd, and you do alight upon the happy beholder. It is as busy and bustling as ever, perhaps even more so. With the evening, the advent of evening, it hasn't actually gotten darker. And in the astral sea, there is no sunrise or sunset, though the phrase "it's getting dark" is often used to imply perhaps we should move inside.
Yeah, that's definitely what I was. And as we get closer to the beholder, I'm gonna like kind of post up near the corner a little bit and see if we're getting tailed at all, and see if we actually truly lost them, or I'm just leading them back to exactly where they want to go.
All right, so you're going to find a spot off to the side to keep an eye out for any tails.
Yeah, kind of like post up an aura farm a little bit. Like look.
Capabiling.
Yeah,
Jade's gonna do the exact same thing, but prop up on the opposite side.
when I see her, I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
from the
pop
same
up on a
path.
bar stool and swing my little feetsies.
Behind the bar, actually, in the center, it's sort of a little island in the center with the bar stools all around it. You've managed to find an open spot while Valen and Jade find their spots to sort of scout out to make sure everything's still on the up and up, make sure you're not being followed. You see a flump, which is a sort of a jellyfish-like creature that has these two little beady eyes and a big smile across the crest of his head. Well, hello there. Welcome to the Happy Beholder. My name is Jigglebean. How can I help you today?
Hi, Jigglebean.
I just
Is,
stop a moment and make sure that our players know what a flump looks like.
Yes.
I need you guys to understand what this thing is
Oh yeah.
before we go any further.
Yeah.
what is a flump?
That
General.
is a flump.
Oh my.
Hi, is Tony in today?
Tony?
Tony.
I don't know no Tony.
Luigi.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm getting my beholders mixed up.
yes, I believe he's in the back
We
rooms
know
right
more than
now.
one.
Yeah, the fact that we know more than one beholder.
I think Luigi was
If you could
technically-
let him know he's being asked for at the counter. And can I get a nail?
A nail?
Actually, hang on. Scratch the ale. I'm working right now. That's I shouldn't do that again.
But it helps grease the gears. But yes, I will try to see if Luigi's available. I believe he's in the back rooms.
Please and thank you.
Jade and Valen, I'd like you both to make a perception check at advantage.
All right, let's see how this aura farming goes. Not great.
Not great. Product quality.
I'm
Not good.
aura farming so hard right now. Like so hard right now, aura farming.
Yeah, let's go, man.
Oh.
Oh my lord.
I rolled a
That
little
plus
high.
11 is impressive.
Right?
There's blue stealing it over here.
Yeah.
Everyone's just, oh my gosh, he's so cool.
Um,
And then Jay's
With an-
just over there twice as cool.
with a natural 20, Valen, you do manage to make yourself a sort of settle in a little bit, and with your eyes darting around, you don't notice that some people start to notice you.
Oh yeah.
A couple people even point over there, and like one table, you see they look to be like younger folk, and there's like a halfling and a half orc in there, and like one of the humans looks over and they're like, and like just your interaction sort of embolden him. He stands up and he sort of walks over. Are you Valen Yose?
You recognized me? I thought
I
thought
do.
so. Yes, I am.
You're incredible.
Thank you.
My family had a Yose in Arrowdale for decades. They're incredible. They're a wonderful people.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, it was a privilege to work with them for so many years.
And so about you won twice.
I did. I did. I sure
incredible.
did.
Can I get your autograph?
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. And I'll already have a pen in hand as like I unfold my arms. I already had a marker ready to go, and I'll like sign it. And then I'll
He holds up a piece of parchment for you to do so.
And I'll also sign it for Stardust too, just as a remembrance.
He's going to turn around and sort of like lift it up to show his friends, and you can see they're all absolutely ecstatic. And like you can hear murmurs of their conversation. He actually signed it for Stardust. But you could just see that they go back to the day. You've made their night. Jade, you're a little more subtle about your searching out and keeping an eye on things. You managed to sort of find a darker corner and blend in more effectively.
And judge Valen hardcore.
As you're both sort of keeping your eyes out, Valen, you're using these individuals sort of as a cover as you sort of cast your eyes about.
Mm-hmm.
You notice as a couple of people walk in after you, but none of them seem to sort of be on the lookout, like they're trying to keep an eye on you.
Nice.
With your incredible perception rolls, Valen with a natural 20 and Jade with a casual 28.
Yeah.
You see that you don't seem to be being followed right now.
Love it. And I'll like make my way into the happy beholder and see if those like fans saw me, and like kind of peer out the window and see if anyone else is looking for me for like autographs still, with like my marker in my hand.
You just set up a little table, just waiting. You notice a couple of people look around and sort of notice you, but
Yeah, and I'll put it away and then like look for Czar.
Nobody seems to pick up who you are aside from those folks. You see Czar sitting at the bar, and after a moment, Czar, you notice as Jigglebean sort of comes back out from the back room and following Ms. Large Luigi. Yeah, hey, you're back. Welcome.
Well, we're back, Luigi. We're back. Is
You-
our client
friend-
still here?
He already left, but he left your stuff in the back there.
Oh. Well,
I
Does
don't
Jade hear
like
that?
that he's gone,
Yes.
but can you take me back to the room?
You do hear that, Jade. He's not being quiet.
Okay.
Yeah, I can take you back there. Just follow me.
he just
Thanks,
left.
Luigi.
Guy owes me a ship, Luigi.
Well, I think you're gonna like what you find.
Oh,
Whoa, Valen. He owes us the ship.
well, of
Okay.
course. I meant
Let's set that straight.
us. But
he leads you to the back. Jade, are you following?
Jade is following.
Are you the one that they were looking for?
Who wants to know?
Just Large Luigi. That's me. I'm just curious.
he's cool. Jade, he's cool.
Yes, Luigi.
Look, he's cool. And I'm going to like give
No,
him like,
no. He's gonna sort of wave off Valen and Czar with one of his tendrils. No. She's a lady of discretion. I respect it.
cool.
Now follow me. He takes you to the back room. He finds the you find the lounge that you had met Nico in, and sitting on the table is a note, or a little map rather, and a folded in Spelljammer seat,
Oh,
sort of a collapsible Spelljammer helm.
all right. Zara, you want to read that note to us?
Yeah, absolutely.
You pick up the note and you can see that it's actually a little drawing, a little map, and it shows the dockside, a little X where your ship would be, and it says Berth 47.
Where are we heading to, big guy?
It says we're headed to Berth 47.
Ooh.
I assume that's where the ship is, and I will pick up the spelljamming helm.
And I'm gonna,
however
like,
big it is.
Pick up one of the cups off and like wipe my finger around and like taste it to see if there's any more like drinks in there, and then like set it down and be like, well, we got 2 more people to find before we get out of here. Why don't we go find another drink before we got to
What
get professional again?
What else did you leave behind? A map and a helm?
A spelljamming helm, a collapsible spelljamming helm. It is roughly the size of a suitcase, and you can see the way that it folds outwards into a chair, basically.
I don't know the quality of it, but it is a ride off this rock. So
I believe he said it was a galleon. In my
Was-
years on ships, that is the equivalent of a minivan.
This chair, does it have any specific sigils on it? Anything that differentiates from a regular galleon? What makes it so special?
So the chair itself, aside from the fact that not many spelljamming helms are collapsible, it seems to be more of a newer thing coming out. You do see that it has the sigils of whoever put this together on the bottom, which allows it to sort of float above the ground and project its influence out into the ship itself. The sigils themselves are particularly intricate. I'd like you to make a quick perception check for me, please. Are you looking for anything in particular?
I want to know if there is a house logo on it that I recognize.
Okay.
oh my gosh.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're a druid. That checks.
With a casual 30, the runes and such seem actually very rudimentary. You do recognize a familiar script insofar as you know the hand of the man who put this together. Unpracticed in this particular art as he is, you get the feeling that this was handmade by Yaroslav.
Thank you. So it was him.
And do I see her looking
say
at this
something?
over? You got something to add there?
If this is real, it could be bait. And if it's bait, I want to use it. And I want to get eyes on that arbor. Quiet ones.
It
That's my
sounds
next
like I'm
move.
being made a piece of the puzzle here in a very large scheme here. You want to fill me in exactly about what type of bait this is here? Because I don't want to take another fireball to the face again. What didn't
Yeah, your
taste?
eyebrow hasn't quite grown back yet.
I was going to say it didn't
Who
taste
know?
terrible,
He would.
but I wouldn't want to eat another one here.
Gentlemen, I'd hate to say it, but you both, if not your whole crew, have more or less stumbled onto a quiet war in this city.
That's not the first quiet war I found myself in the middle of.
Honestly, I was expecting worse. So that's not the worst thing to be involved in.
Well, you
I feel
gentlemen
like
look like you've
Czar-
handled quite a few things in your past. So, I would hope that you can keep up. But I would be incredibly wary about what is going on here. I don't like it. It's too open, it's too brash. It smells like a trap, and I don't like it.
You think the spell jamming helm is a trap?
Quite so.
So you're saying we shouldn't go claim this ship?
Uh,
Openly.
I'm not saying that.
Actually,
This
she's
is
thinking
definitely-
we be the bait in her trap here. That's what she's asking for us to do here. And I don't know. We got
You
to
need somebody to innocently charge into this ship, open arms, pretending to be completely excited to
before
pilot a ship
before
again.
we make any
I think I can do that.
before we
I'm
make any
saying-
decisions, we need to wait for Tin Man here to get here and Nico.
Oh,
Is
well,
that his name?
absolutely.
Was it
You were saying
Neko or
you were saying,
Nico?
Jade?
I'm saying this is going to be a bit of a blockade rush. So if you join and jump in there quickly, it's not going to be a quiet exit. I imagine there's going to be other eyes, other people, other interlopers involved in this that would have issue with you leaving with this nice fancy ship.
Fancy.
What's a quiet exit? I don't think we've had too many of those.
Oh my. So subtlety is not common phrase in your group.
It's not like
it's not for lack of effort on
it's not a main
part.
objective, but it's definitely high up on the ladder of important things amongst our group here.
To improve.
I see.
Which is one we don't talk
Absolutely to
about.
improve.
Which one? The first rule of the group is we don't talk about too much of the group until the whole group is here. And we barely know who you are, and it seems like you're walking us right in to be the bait of a trap. Which I'm not saying
pretty
I'm
sure
a.
she just told us not to walk in and be bait for a trap.
No, that's the exact opposite of what she's saying. She's saying we should spring the trap and run the run. Which
I was saying spring the trap and run. She told me that was a bad idea.
no, your idea of getting it done was the poor idea, but it's still I think what she's saying, right? What are you saying here?
We're a very productive group.
Oh, at this
I
point,
feel
like,
it's bait.
Hold on.
But even though it may be bait, it might be worth getting it and running with it.
Oh yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can trip a trap. Think I
can
get
trip
that
traps
ship.
too.
I'm down for this. They'll never catch us once we get out of this jungle rock.
Well, there are a couple things we need to do on this junk rock before we make an all too hasty exit.
Quite so. I have several errands that I need to run. I was caught between a dead drop. Thank you again for saving me, but I have several objectives. that I
We
have
should
to
really
complete.
wait to talk about all this till everyone gets back. I hate talking business without everyone. I hate to cut you off.
I mean,
Then
it's
buy
not
me a drink.
necessarily business. It's just platitudes.
You heard the lady. Get her a drink.
Exactly.
Oh,
Drinks.
we can drink now?
That's what I was saying. We have a little time to when I don't have to be professional again. Drinks.
I'll take whiskey and keep it coming.
I want another.
You ever heard of a jade tsunami?
I want another one of those jade tsunamis too.
I'm thinking of getting another jade tsunami.
Considering what it's done to both of you, I think I'll just stick with my whiskey.
Your loss.
so Nico in the background is like, oh yeah, we probably should have told him to come here. And he's like, I'll write a letter. I'm going to write a letter to Czar. Hey, come to my shop. And just like Astral posted to Czar.
Okay. You as you go, you lift it up, you think of Czar, and you send it to him. After a moment, you feel sort of like an invisible hand in your coin pouch, and it very obviously lifts up a single silver, says "for the service," and then floats away.
Thank you, invisible postage man.
So as you sort of settle in and wait for Tin Man and Nico to get back, Luigi does bring your drinks. He gets Czar and Valen a Jade Tsunami, and this monstrous tankard of alcohol. And Jade, he gets you your highball of whiskey, complete with a rounded out circle or a sphere of ice in the center. Um, I'm sorry, it's not the dwarven stuff. It's a little harder to get out here. So it's whiskey without the E.
And I'll hold up my drink and I'll say, but before we do this, why don't we all go around the table and say two truths and a lie about ourselves? And I'm looking like intently at Jade.
At pulling information at her.
Icebreakers.
Go on. Tell me something
Two
about yourself.
truths and a lie. Really? That's what we're going with today. Okay. Jade looks a little silly for a minute.
I'll go first. I
Thank you.
won the Gale Force Prix twice. I ascended early, and I am known well and far for my lovely voice. And then I'll wait.
So, anyways, all of that was a lie. Come on, Zar, give us something.
Oh, does she have to spot the lie?
Necessarily.
No, you kind of just
All right.
yeah, you kind of just say them,
Fair
and
enough.
then we know.
Two truths and a lie. I have spent a fair share of time on a desert asteroid. One of my eyes is prosthetic. And I used to have a very, very nice boat. Ship.
You know what? I'm actually not certain about that.
And then I like turn my gaze right at Jade.
Exactly one of my eyes.
Of the
Well,
hundreds.
Jade,
Of the thousands of compound eyes.
You know, I actually think that one might be true.
All right, I'll bite. I once poisoned an entire dinner party just to kill one man.
Effective.
And
Check.
2, I still sleep with a dagger beneath my pillow.
Effective. Check.
And 3, I've never failed a mission.
Ooh. Ooh,
I
which
could've-
one of those
Things
is a
stand.
lie? Oh,
As things stand,
oh.
we technically never failed a mission.
and then I'll do my
Come on,
shot,
Jennifer.
and I'll throw it back, and you guys, I assume, do yours.
Yes.
And well, that is quite the lie you told there, Jade. It's tough to spot it, but I read it like a book.
Guess I'm the wrong
We
one.
almost get Zap Brannigan energy. I'm getting Zap Brannigan energy.
Would you like to make an insight check, Valen?
Yeah.
Jade,
In the game
if
of
you
chess,
are...
never let your opponent see all your pieces.
I don't know.
Jade, if you'd like, if you're trying to be sort of surreptitious about it, you can make what was it? A persuasion check.
Oh. No, yours is perception.
Valen, you feel like you figured out what the lie is, but you also kind of feel like they're all kind of a lie. Jade sort of strikes you as the type that for every truth she tells, there's a hint of untruth.
Interesting.
Yeah, don't trust her.
I'm so confused about which one's a truth or a lie. I'm just trying to play it off like straight poker face, but as soon as I turn around, I'm just like, whoa,
Mhm.
that's a tough one to crack.
Nico and Czar.
No.
You. All right. Valen. Or not Nico Czar. Yeah, sorry. Nico Tin Man. Wow, I cannot people today. I see what you meant. I'm like, okay, we'll just go back to the other three. Um, so
Those
yes,
people are not in the same room.
Nico and Tin Man, you step out of the
Very scary.
lever. Yes, Nevo. You step out of the lever and action into Gift Town. You're headed for Nico's shop, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Did I just see you throw a note?
Well, I figured if after this we weren't gonna make it back to Large Luigi's. Let's just go to my shop. They'll meet us there, and I guess we're getting a ship.
Oh, assuming things don't go south. I trust Luigi to handle things there. Aberration aside, I get the feeling that place is probably more secure than it looks on the outside. But that figure there didn't rub me right, whoever he was. I get the feeling, most likely, if he is still there, he's probably not going to complete the transaction as is. Probably going to have him do one of them, meet me at this location type of deals. So, more than likely, if we do meet up with them, there's probably a next step to this. But I trust that it ain't broken into some kind of a drunken bar brawl yet. Probably. Probably. So yeah, they'll probably be able to meet us. So where's your shop at here, boy?
And yeah, well, I'll lead him through, and it's going to be well off the main thoroughfare. It's like as you walk down, you see it's like there's that like prime real estate on the front. He's like, oh, it's turn here, and you turn, and you think you're about to go into a shop, and it's like this hot like alleyway. You just kind of snake your way back, and you find yourself outside of this small shack-like building with a purple and gold sign. And you walk inside, and surprisingly, you see a refrigerator, like an ice cream stand. And there's a wall. And it just says, like, it looks like it says, like, really, really, like, poorly maintained glass. It just says gelato on it. And you look in, and there's no gelato. It's a refrigerator, but there are just
Oh,
bits and pieces of machinery and um other like orders half filled, like projects built, and be like, oh, I could use that later. Um,
mm-mm.
but all legit. Like it's all stuff that you might see, like people come in for repairs if they needed something. And then you open up the back and you walk in, and it looks like a magic chop shop.
Emphasis on the chop shop.
You,
You
you you're
you
actually a
put this
little
place together
astounded.
yourself?
Go ahead, Tin Man.
Like,
No,
I
carry
was
on.
just gonna say, did you put this place together yourself, or is this one of Orvis's old hidey holes?
Uh, no, this is kind of my own, but you do look in the back, and you'll notice like the desk work area. Um, there's a drafting table that folds down, and it looks very reminiscent of like a rustic kind of cottage feel. Um, and on there are designs and uh based around the black hole in his chest.
You've been busy, haven't you?
Tin Man, seeing these designs, something strikes you. The black hole in his chest is, you don't really see anything inside of it, as it is sort of a negative space. You can only really see the accretion disk around it, which is in a course of that vibrant gold that sort of permeates Nico's body like veins. Um, though the device itself has a single sphere in the center and 3 rotating rings around the edge. This looks identical to the same device they were talking about at the academy that you could not say the name of. Furthermore, what's got or sort of laying across a corner of the paper or the blueprint itself is a very ornate dagger. It looks extremely functional, but you can tell that it was probably like the leather of the handle was replaced with nicer leather. The hand guard is functional. It is utilitarian, but it is of a immaculate make. Nico, you know this, of course, as the dagger that Blade Art left you. But Tin Man, you would recognize it as you've seen Blade Art and Nico with this blade once before, some time ago, but you do recall it in a little bar called the Crate and Tackle.
That's right. We crossed paths once before, didn't we?
And I'm just kind of leaning forward and just like, wait, that was you?
Don't breathe too much into it. Just one of a million service droids. Though it did make an interesting friend that day. Well, I gotta say, color me impressed. I'm gonna point at the one device whose name I cannot say. That one in particular. What can you tell me about that?
What can't I tell him about?
That's on you.
Oh, so what's inside my that because that's I really don't know too much about it actually, Tin Man. This was something that Orvis was working on, the last thing that I know of before the accident.
And you woke
All
up
I've
and-
done,
Yeah.
it was there, but all I can say is it's interesting. There is a network, a way of organizing, and I start going into in great detail about magic and runes and how they all connect together, and essentially like professor level explanation. And but see, that's not the whole of it. It's that's great. You can design all of this, but there's like the command part of it that controls it and sticks it together. And I kind of like show him how essentially taking that and binding it into an object, and that's what becomes like the the explanations. 100% nerding out.
At
Yep.
any point, do you name the device, Nico?
Yes, because it is my armor. I'll say, well, at the point I just called it, the singularity, or gravity's grasp. I haven't really settled on a name yet.
Do you list out the other names?
Yeah. Where did I put the? Do you have the?
Oh, where did I put that list of names? It's 50
Well,
lane.
There's one in particular that Tin Man might recognize. So as you sort of count off these lists of names, you hear the name Rox Ortis. This was the word you could not say.
I'm gonna try to mouth the word now. Does it come out of my mouth?
Nope. Blocks Tortoise.
No, it is the Rox Ortis.
With a D. Ordus.
Ortis. And like and I just kind of gestured like Tin Man. Rox Ortis.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
No, but and I'm gonna like grab my tool and start looking at the top of Tin Man's head, like.
All right. Back up. As he does this, my hat actually kind of slides forward, and you get a good look of the Fappelbrand Industries maker mark on the back of his head, and you can see kind of where it's almost been kind of scratched out to an extent, but it's still very much there. Like he can't get rid of it completely. So he kind of chases you off. Now. I'll admit I don't know much about all that. You definitely love what you do. You definitely know a thing or two about it. You remind me of Orvis. You remind me of my old man, if I'm honest. Take it as a compliment. It's about the only one you'll get when he's involved. But what I do know, spent a lot of time along with the Zerai. Gith, not Gith. They get mad at you for confusing them. Not the Raiders, but lesser known folk. They're thinkers, philosophers, medimitators, and a lot of them did mining work where I provided my gun. And well, they always kind of had an easier way of putting it that I rather liked, and that's that at the end of the day, everything's connected. I never really much saw it as fate or destiny or any of that. I don't believe that things can pull you this way or that. But if you do pull on something, it's like pulling on the edge of a blanket. You're going to pull the other edge up. Every rope has an end, but every thread still connects to the next. Mathematics, not my specialty. Unless you're talking about the air velocity of a 9mm going through 12 feet of 0G space. But that's about it. But I do understand that this concept, this weave, this gravity, it does have a way of binding us in some pretty funny ways. Kind of point at the singularity. This black tortoise of yours, I don't know what Orvis was doing, what he was planning, but I think it connects back to kind of pat my holster. Connects back to the dove somehow. Makes her anxious. You're the one that gifted Skyrock that spear, weren't you?
Oh, that was a little we were tinkering, and the brief time that we were together, Bladar was there. We were kind of hunting, as you know, Skyrock things. So, let's just say he was showing me how to throw, and well, you have to throw it, you have to run and get it, come back. It's like, well, why? What if it just came back and you could just keep throwing it? Way more convenient. We made it happen.
Well, however you made that happen, useful as it was, he put it in my hands for a little while. Don't replace no rifle, but I made good use of it. Well, one night the dove didn't quite much like that. Maybe she was jealous, I don't know. But this tortoise makes her nervous. And she said that this was somehow connected to it. What does she do? She goes and eats the thing. Not the spear itself, but the incantation. Remember how I said I just about got spaced? That was the night. That was the night I just about got spaced. I don't blame him. We didn't much know each other, and I'm sure that spear had some sentimental value to old Skyrock there. He's a big tough guy, but I think we can both agree he's a bit of a softy on the inside. He makes his friends, he bonds close. And I felt some awful about messing up that spear you made for him. But something about it scared the dove. I'd like to do something. I'd like to try something. But I'm going to be honest, I don't know what's going to happen. Nico, you willing to meet a new friend of mine?
Let's do it. And Mark, I did send you a message back that I had ritual cast identify on the dove.
Mm-hmm. You had ritual cast identify on the dove while you're in the lever in action waiting for Arnott. Your response from that spell comes in pieces. The first thing you get is that whatever metal she's made of actually absorbed a little bit of your magic. The information you do get is specifically on the bullets. You're actually a little surprised that they almost feel familiar. You reach out and touch each of these individual shells with your magic, and each one almost comes alive as its own identity. The first one you sense is a bit distant and chaotic, as it seems to rail against whatever confines it's kept in. Another is extremely quiet and subtle, and you get the sense of incredible danger from the sort of the energy it emits. You're almost entranced simply by interacting with it, just by brushing it with your magic. The other three, you don't get much from, but you also sense the final wisps of an identity of the casing of her final bullet, the one that was recently fired. The last wisps you get are of relief and of an incredible capability of perception. So as you touch it, you almost see the world around you in full, Neji from Naruto, 360-degree fashion. And after a moment, you come back in and you are a little surprised that you are now back to being just you. But that you feel like a final breath come from that shell. And as you sort of come back in, you see standing behind Tin Man is a slender, lace-covered, but almost frail-looking metallic skeleton with a burnished steel face that only shows her blue eyes. She stares at you intently through the lace of her cowl. You can sense them too. The memories. And I think that's where we'll call it for the night.
Great episode. We lost Marina there at the end there.
Tail end.
She was having a little computer problems at the beginning, but great episode, guys. Thanks for everyone tuning in. Gosh, that was awesome. What a great night.
Much fun.
What a great night. Mark, take us away.
Yes, so thank you everybody for tuning in. This was a bit more of a chiller session as we were sort of coming down from the last one, getting to learn a little bit more about these characters, just sort of actually getting in their heads and seeing how they interact after they've had a little bit of bonding through tension. But yes, thank you so much for everyone being here. Have a wonderful evening. Don't forget to wash your dice, and then couple